Hey guys, how's it going? It is Carter here, and we are back today with some more Arma 3. We are looking at Project RACS again, and today we're looking at the SLA, the Serrani Liberation Army. Last time we looked at the Royal Army Corps of Serrani. This time we're looking at the Serrani Liberation Army. So if you remember the last episode, when we were looking, a lot of the equipment was kind of a lot of NATO, a little bit of Eastern Bloc type of stuff, but a lot of NATO. Well, the Serrani Liberation Army is definitely heavily funded by the Russians, and you will see that in the equipment today. So let's just start here. So the Liberation Army actually comes with a little few more UN troopers. It's the only UN vehicle, and I just laid out a rifleman, medic, and EOD here, but there's a few other ones as well. We'll move over to the medical evacuation corps type of thing. We have a MI8 with 3 cots in the back and some room for some medics. Then we also have basically a just light armored carrier converted into an ambulance. I don't even know if this thing has an interior. Doesn't show anything. So some of the vehicles, sometimes when you clip into them, they do actually show a little bit of the interior. This one is just a Ural with 3 cots in the back. Next, we'll go over to the paratroopers. So here's just the standard paratrooper, and we'll get a little bit more in-depth look at the paratroopers over there. But paratroopers also come with one paratrooper-specific vehicle, and that is the BMD-1S. And then next, we can look at the what are these guys called? They are the Surrounding Revolutionary Guards. There it is. So, infantrymen, commanders, fair to show you that, and they come with 4 core-specific vehicles. One is a BTR, another BTR, a BMD-2S, and a T-80. The T-80 is actually like these guys' T-80 is like the best tank in the entire faction. So you can definitely tell there's a little bit of money in this division. Next, we can look at these would be the MRAPs. So it's just the BRDMs in 4 different variants. Very nice. These are the IFVs, which is BMP-1s, and a BMP-2. These would be the no, not the MRAPs, just the cars, the standard cars. Okay, yep. BTRs in all different variants. Like I said, lots and lots of Russian surplus here. Definitely got a deal on the Russian surplus. A little bit of light armor. And then these are their 2 actual tanks. The only 2 in the actual tank section, like the tank core, are the T-72B and the T-72BA, which is just the up-armored version. So not a lot for tanks. A lot of light armor, though. Lots and lots of light armor in this faction. Next are the trucks, just standard logistics vehicles. The MAZ-534, the MAZ-534, both of them transport. One of them's ammo, one of them's just standard transport. MTLB with ammo and the HQ version. And then just, to be expected, the Urals with a few different variants. The helicopters, not a ton in this faction. We have the Mi-24. These things are always monsters if you get a good pilot behind them. I hate them so much. They're awful to deal with. Actually, all Soviet vehicles, they suck to fight against if you're on the ground because they're just loaded with rockets and guns, and they're the most cartoonish vehicles possible. The Mi-17 with just ludicrous amounts of rockets on it. Another M1 or Mi-24, sorry, with more armaments. Another heavy rocket vehicle, but this one has gun pods. And then just the standard troop transport. Actually, these are just the cars. Those were actually APCs. Sorry, these are APCs. In the car section, you have just a lot of UAZs, different variants, tow missiles, and Dishkas, and whatnot, all kinds of fun stuff. And then you have the Gaz. As much as I hate a lot of Russian vehicles, I think the Gaz is actually kind of a sweet looking vehicle. And then we will head over to artillery. There's not a lot of artillery, but the artillery they do have is pretty powerful. So get the RM-70. This is by far one of the coolest vehicles they have. I think this thing is so cool looking. Next, just the basically Ural with some rockets on the back. See this a lot in use today in Ukraine and Russia. Just a BTR with a mortar carrier, the D30S, and the M46 130 millimeter. So if I'm not going as in depth on these, it's just because I don't know Russian equipment very well. So, and they just love to throw numbers and letters in places that it's just weird. So I just don't feel like reading everything off. Here's what the artillery core looks like. Pretty standard, just Eastern Bloc steel helmet and the standard Serrani Liberation camo. They have a mortar, the 2S1 122 millimeter, and the 2S3 152 millimeter. This is all the AA, so they are definitely prepared for the Serrani army to attack from the air. If you try attacking these guys from the air, you are screwed. So as you can see, they have just I mean, probably the largest AA missile I've ever seen in my life. The thing is ludicrous. Then, you know, pretty standard, just SAM turrets, flat cannons, pretty old school stuff here. Some of these are pretty old school, more flak, SAM turret type of thing. Pretty wild. Everything's so insane looking in Soviet armor. Some radar, another radar here. Very, very cool looking anti-air vehicle. It's just one of the craziest looking things I've ever seen. Pretty standard. Very unique. Pretty standard. Urals with guns strapped on. That's a big Soviet thing right there. So Urals with guns. And then here's what their AA core looks like. Pretty much exactly the same. Actually, I think the patch might even be the same as the artillery. Oh, no, okay. Patches are different. So that's really the only way to tell the difference between a lot of these. Oh, no, maybe they're the same. I don't know. But yeah, that's really the only way to tell the difference with a lot of these Liberation Army factions, which makes sense. They don't have the same funding as the actual Serrani army, so, you know, it makes sense. A lot of what they're wearing is surplus from the Eastern Bloc. Here's the border guards, your standard East German looking style border guard, Soviet, you know, very, very, very Soviet uniform here. And they also come with quite a few vehicles. I actually do like the design of these with the green stripe, and it just looks clean. It's actually a really cool paint job. And last is the planes. Well, actually, no, we have the missile carrier. We have the Scud B carrier. This thing, I actually don't know if this, I don't know if this has a, like, actually, like, detonates and makes a big boom, or if this is more of a prop. I haven't tried it. I just use it as a prop, usually, for, like, convoys and stuff. Then we have the Frogfoot. I mean, iconic attack aircraft. If you're a fan of Russian aviation, this is, like, to me, this, when I think, honestly, I honestly don't even think of MiGs when I think of, like, Russian airplanes. It's the Frogfoot, just because it's almost crazier than the A-10, just because they just decided to strap so much shit under the wings that it doesn't even make sense. But I'm obviously an A-10 fanboy, so A-10's better. Then we have the Su-22. Probably one of the goofier looking airplanes I've ever seen. I didn't even know this was actually in the pack, and like I said, I've played with this quite a bit, so this surprised me when I clicked on it, because yeah, it's insane looking. And then they have 3 MiG variants. They have the MiG-21, MiG-28, which is very clean and black, looks awesome, and the MiG-27, the swept-back wings. And then they have the Antov An-12B. Big old boy. B stands for big old boy. Pretty interesting. I always find just Russian slash Soviet architecture and just design choices for vehicles and buildings so interesting, just fascinating to me. But yeah, so that's their cargo slash transport plane. And then we will take a look at just their overall infantry designs. So here is the naval infantry. I actually think I have two naval infantries on here. Yeah, naval infantry, steel helmet, kind of urban woodland camo. This would be the armored infantry, I believe. They're not as neatly labeled as the last faction was. I believe this is armored infantry. Yeah. So this is your actual legit semi well funded fighting force. And it pretty much only goes down from here. This is your standard border guard. We saw him earlier. This is the commandos. So this is your standard commando. As you can see, chest rig and AK with the boonie hat. And then they have what's called the Commando Ninja, which is their stealth version. He wears all black, balaclava, suppressed, obviously. You've got light infantrymen here. So this is more conscript, National Guard type of guys. Obviously no armor, except for the steel bucket. This is your paratroopers. Once again, more highly trained. Actually, the patches are all different, or for the most part different. But yeah, so paratrooper, much like the armored soldiers, one of the only troops, if you're fighting the Sorani Liberation Army, that actually is going to have armor when you face them. And then they have the SLA guards, which is another, actually probably one of the more well-funded ones. This is the faction that has the nicer tank over here. This is these guys. So as you can see, they have pretty decent equipment. And then there is the just command. Command staff actually has two people in it. They have the general and the commander. Once again, very, very Russian. But then, yeah, back to naval infantry. So that is it. Quick little video here. But that's the overall view of the Sorani Liberation Army. Once again, Project RACS, probably one of the greatest character slash faction, custom factions you can get. I would highly recommend it. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. Like I said, I've been playing this just constantly, and hopefully these past two videos make you want to play it as well, because it is an incredible mod, and I highly recommend it to everybody, anybody, and everybody. So give it a look. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't. Thank you to all the new subscribers we've been getting. It means a lot to me that you like my shit enough to support it. And that's it for today, you guys. Peace out.